If you're an author worried that it's going to cost hundreds, if not thousands of dollars to market your book, I'm so glad you're here because today we are going to talk about how authors can market a book for free. A misconception that many authors have is thinking that they're going to have to invest tens of thousands of dollars into their marketing budget. And many times that isn't happening. That is not available. And so I wanted to share with you some ways that you can market your book for free and how you can do it simply without it overwhelming your entire life. So my name is Jen Hanson-dePaula, and I'm the co-founder of Mixus Media. And this channel was created to empower and educate authors and writers to know how to best market their books and how to use social media to grow an audience online. And I am really good at helping authors simplify the book marketing process and help find their readers using social media. So let's get started. So you don't need a degree in marketing in order to know how to connect with readers. In fact, I think that authors are often the best marketers because you know your book best. You know who you want to connect with. And that's all that marketing is it's connecting with people that you want to connect with, that you have similar interests as. Many times an author's ideal reader is a reflection of them. So you really know the kinds of books and the kinds of interests and hobbies and other details that you can connect with readers on. And when we think about marketing that way, it really takes the edge off, doesn't it? It really helps us to open our minds up to the possibilities of connecting with people all over the world that would love to read our books. So if you have little to no marketing budget, let's talk about a few things to keep in mind as we get started. So the first thing that you want to keep in mind is to start as soon as possible. You don't want to wait until your book is completed in order to start building your audience. You need to start right away. It takes time to build these connections, so the sooner you start, the better. And the second thing I want you to remember is to focus on just 2 or 3 promotions at a time. You don't want to spread yourself too thin. So I'm going to be sharing some promotional ideas and just pick a few of them to start with, and then you can build from there. And the third thing I want you to remember before we jump into these tips is that small audiences are actually a great thing. I truly believe that there is no such thing as a small audience because when you're just getting started or when you have a really small audience, you are able to ask these people questions. You can get some incredible feedback and you are going to be given information that is just going to be absolute gold because you're going to get that insight into what they respond to, what they're interested in, and how you can connect with them and how you can provide added value to the content that you're sharing. So treat these connections like gold. Don't just be chasing after a bigger number. Really deepen those relationships and learn from them. And the fourth and final tip before we jump into the actual promotional ideas is to plan ahead. This is so important because if we just kind of throw things at the wall to see what sticks, it's not going to be as effective. And you are going to drive yourself crazy. So don't just throw this together. Be thoughtful and intentional. Think about your goals and what you want to accomplish and map your way there. So no matter how big or small your budget is, the biggest investment that you're going to have to make is time. So setting aside a minimum of 2, maybe 3 hours a week to work on your marketing is going to be really important. Again, time is your investment when you have a small budget. And you'll be surprised at how much you can get done in even a short amount of time. So here are ideas that you can run with. So the first tip is to think local. So many times we think that we have to have these big media opportunities or these big events. And really, when we think local, there's a lot that we have in our own backyard that we can work with. Think about your local libraries. Think about your bookstores. Think about book clubs and writing clubs and conferences. Think about your Chamber of Commerce. Think about schools in your area. Think about other literary organizations or literary events that your library puts on. There are so many ways that you can connect with readers locally and start growing that audience right here in your own backyard. And you never know where those connections will lead to. The second tip is to use meetup.com. Meetup.com is a great way to research different book clubs and different literary events and different communities that are within your area. So meetup.com has both online and offline opportunities for you to use to make these connections. So take a look at meetup.com and see what you can find. And the third tip is to connect with your local media and news outlets. Many times we think that we need to contact big literary magazines or big newspapers in order to get coverage. But really, starting off in your own community with local media coverage is a fantastic way to not only get your feet wet with interviews and get some practice in, but it's a great way to start building up your queue of media coverage that you can use to get even more media coverage. All it takes is a simple Google search, and many of these news outlets have contact pages and ways that you can submit your book or your information that you want to pitch. Fourth is to tap into your hobbies and other interests. Think about other ways that you can use things that you're interested in to connect with people. Maybe you like to garden, maybe you like painting, maybe you like reading to kids at the local library. Thinking about other ways that you can connect with people within your community, online and offline, through your hobbies and other interests is a great way to not only broaden your reach, but to make even deeper connections. And next, tap into free resources. There are so many free online resources like Canva, like later.com. There are so many online assets that you can use to create images, to use as your social media management tools, to use as your planning devices, all of these things. Canva is one of my favorites to start creating graphics and other visuals that you need to help promote your book. And they have a free plan. And also later.com is a fantastic resource that you can also use for free, that you can use for your social media management tools to put out all of your social media posts without you being tied to your computer. And next up is recruit your friends and family. This is a great way to help them get involved. Many times our friends and family want to help, but they don't know how. So maybe asking them to read the book and to leave an honest review on Amazon. Maybe it's to help spread the word through their social media. Get creative and think about ways that they can help you spread the word. And next up, get to know your local librarians and your local booksellers. These connections are gold because they know of different literary get-togethers, of different ways that you can connect with readers. They are at the center of it. So really befriend them and really get to know them and tap into them and ask them questions. They are there to help and they would love to talk with you. And next, focus on just one social media outlet. Many times we spread ourselves way too thin when we think about all the different social media outlets that are there, but think about your ideal reader. Think about where are they hanging out. And again, this is a great way to build your audience for free online because you're able to reach people all over the world and really deepen those relationships. So focus on one outlet and really build a community there. And utilize your blog or your video or your podcast. Think about the content that you're creating and really dig deep into that. Content is king, and when you can show readers what your book is about or how you provide value or how you help them with their problems or answer their questions, this is a great way to show that you provide great value. So tapping into your blog, your podcast, your video, any of those resources is key. Next up is to connect with other writers. The writer community is amazing. And so when you can connect with a few other authors and get some feedback, or you provide feedback for them and you can reciprocate with one another and help promote one another, it's a great way to not only build your community, but to also learn from your fellow authors. Next up is to focus on keywords. Think about words that your readers will use to research and to find books like yours. Go on Amazon, go on Google, and really find the keywords that your readers will use, and it's going to help you get in front of the right people and help the algorithms and all of the search terms and all those different things in order for them to put you in front of the right people. So focusing on keywords is key. And last but not least, focus on your newsletter. Growing your newsletter is so important because this is going to be the group of people that are your avid fans. These are your core readers. And there are some great newsletter subscription services like MailerLite that allow you to have up to 1,000 subscribers for free before you have to start paying. So that is one of my favorite resources for newsletters, and really tapping into your newsletter subscribers is one of the key tactics that you're going to be really leaning into to help you market your book. Effective marketing is really about creativity, and it's about taking a little time to focus on a few key things. So of all of these ideas that I listed, you don't have to do them all. Pick 2 or 3 to start off with and really focus on them. And if you have time, add to that. But it's really about starting simple and then getting fancy later. When you take it one step at a time and you really start to kind of chisel away at things, you really start to see things unfold and you start to see connections build and you start to see your strategy take root and start to actually work. So in the comments below, let me know which tip you are going to put to work first. And as you can see, you don't need to spend a ton of money to effectively market your book. Just focus on a few key things and you will see results. And be sure to download my free Streamlined book marketing guide. If you like this video, be sure to hit like and subscribe. I share new videos every Friday full of book marketing information and social media information specifically for authors. So I'll see you next time.